Hello, everybody, and welcome into Commodity Culture, where we break down commodities, markets, sound money principles, and geopolitics, all with the goal of making you a better investor in the commodities sector. My name is Jesse Day, and on this episode, I'm thrilled to welcome Gerald Celente to the program, a world-renowned trend forecaster with an over 40-year track record of identifying, tracking, and forecasting trends. He is a best-selling author and the publisher of the Trends Journal. Gerald warns that while he believes geopolitical uncertainty and an increase in wars worldwide will push gold to $10,000 an ounce, the trade-off is that we could be standing on the precipice of nuclear annihilation, as the leaders calling the shots have completely lost their minds and are willing to sacrifice anything, including their own people, to destroy their enemies. We dive into the Russia-Ukraine conflict, the Israel-Palestine war, the new wars brewing in Venezuela and Iran, and so much more, so strap yourselves in for my conversation with Gerald Celente. Gerald Celente, great to have you back on Commodity Culture. Global conflict seems to be rising on all fronts, and I think to nobody's surprise, the U.S. is being involved in all major wars being waged. I want to start with Trump's U-turn from trying to get a peace deal done between Russia and Ukraine to now claiming Ukraine can not only win the war, but they can take back all of their conquered territory, and the U.S. now looking like they will likely provide long-range Tomahawk missiles and even potentially help Ukraine identify good targets to strike in Russian territory. A lot of military experts coming out and saying the missiles themselves will have to be launched by U.S. operatives as well. Why do you think this change of stance has occurred, and what would the implications be of Ukraine striking Russia with U.S. backing?
The why is, I've been at this for 45 years. I have best-selling books. Trends 2000, international bestseller. Trend tracking, far better than Megatrends, Time Magazine. Publish a weekly Trends Journal magazine. We do top trends every year. This is the first year one of our top trends was wild card, because another one was the Trump card. Hey, you elect me, I'm gonna net Ukraine war in 24 hours, all right? All right? Hey, I got elected now. That war's gonna end before I get into office, all right? All right? Hey, how about that little arrogant little clown boy Kellogg? Oh, yeah, the U.S. guy, the envoy guy over there, yeah. January. We're going to end that Ukraine war in 100 days. And now this fat mouth, Kellogg Frosted Flake, is spewing out the crap about how Ukraine is going to become the winner of the war. You're asking me why? Why do you ask a freak that bullshits his way into office why? Why is he changing his mind? Because he's full of shit. That's why. You got it? Look at all the tariffs, this way, that way, this way, that way, this way, that way. Oh, now we're going to go after Venezuela. I forgot. Oh, we got to stop that drug dealing. Hey, wait a minute. You tried to overthrow the government when you were president back in 2019 and 2020. You brought in that little Guaido guy. Remember that little clown boy of nothing? Remember that little jerk off over there? Oh, and how much of Europe supported Trump's bullshit to overthrow the Maduro government? Oh, it was nothing about drugs back then. You think the United States would have invaded Iraq, Syria, and Libya if their major export was broccoli? It's all about oil. So you're asking why? Is he changing his mind? You don't ask a lying, narcissistic piece of shit why. And it ain't only him. How about the little Mertz boy over there next to Germany that killed over 25 million Russians in Operation Barbarossa in World War II? Germany, third largest economy in the world, biggest in Europe. hey, you're in a recession for 2 years. But we're going to build our military because we have to stop the Russians. So we're going to get $1 trillion in debt to build up our military? Heil Mertz. A little BlackRock guy, right? Oh, I forgot. Yeah. Where's the outrage? How about that little Gatson Macron with a pecker the size of a pencil if he has one at all? Oh, we may put troops over there in Ukraine. We got to stop those Russians. Oh, the Germans, didn't you like World War One? No, I like World War II better. Yeah, let's give them World War III. Look at the crap they're selling about we got to stop the Russians because they're going to invade Europe. You got crazy people, maniacs. Oh, I forgot Netanyahu. Oh, I forgot that little boy Starmer over there in the UK. How about an FUCK UK, huh? It's a freak show, and the freaks are running the show. End of story. You don't ask why. A murderer is a murderer, a thief is a thief, a rapist is a rapist. They're evil-minded people, narcissistic pieces of shit. End of story.
The sponsor of today's episode is ARC Silver Gold Osmium. Owner Ian Everard is praised even by his competitors as one of the most honest and level-headed bullion dealers in the United States. They have some great prices. You can see some of them displayed right now on screen. Take advantage of these specials today by reaching out to Ian at 307-264-9441 or by email at ian@arcsgo.com. Make sure to tell him, of course, that Commodity Culture sent you. And now, back to the interview. Are we in a situation now where the political rulers, because the thing that comes closest to mind to me is a kakistocracy, essentially a rule by the worst of the worst, which seems like it's been spreading globally. You've had a very long experience in politics and speaking to these people and dealing with these people. Is it worse than you've ever seen now, or is this type of behavior from politicians, this type of reckless, evil behavior, just par for the course?
Yep. What's your favorite war? You like the Peloponnesian War? Maybe you like the 100-Year War. Hey, wasn't the War of Roses lovely? What's your favorite crusade? Well, I like the 8th better than the 3rd. It's been going on forever. It's been going on forever, but now this is very serious. Once upon a time, there was this cat by the name of Einstein. Knew a thing or two about the atomic bomb. They asked him, what kind of weapons will be used to fight the Third World War? He said, I don't know. But they'll be using sticks and stones to fight the fourth. That's where we're at. I had a peace rally, and I launched a movement called Occupy Peace. We just had one last week. Judge Napolitano, Scott Ritter, Joe Lauria, Roger Waters did a song about it. Dennis Kucinich, former congressman, guy ran for president. Load of people. Smallest turnout in 11 years. Top PR firm sent out thousands of emails, press releases. International, national, and local. Zero coverage. And the people that showed up, they were like, the average age was probably 60 years old. No young people. Peace is a dirty word. No, there's America, no peace. No. Shut the hell up. You're not allowed to talk about peace. You're not allowed to be on the mainstream media. Get the hell out of here. We are on the verge of nuclear annihilation. Israel's going to ramp up the war. It's going to be bombs away over Iran. And you know about the Samson option. Israel says if they lose, they go nuclear. They got between 200 and 400 nuclear warheads. Oh, and you don't have to be good at math to figure this out. Look at it, 91 million Iranians versus 7 million Israelis. And the Iranians are very advanced scientifically, technologically, militarily. You go to war against Iran, they're going to wipe out Israel. But Israel's going to go nuclear. And the United States is going to join them. And all this money that they're spending, all of Europe with their GDP now, 5% of their GDP going to the military-industrial complex, yeah, it's a waste of money. It's a waste of these tanks are going to be useless. It's all new millennium warfare. Here, new millennium warfare. I wrote about it in my book, Trends 2000 in 1997. I was brought down to the Virginia Military Institute, VMI, to talk about new millennium warfare back in 2000. I'm saying all of this stuff, these planes, the tanks, the ships, this is useless stuff in the new millennium. Oh, they weren't talking about drones back then. It's a whole different warfare. And there's no, hey, where are all the, hey, what, all you Quakers, would you die in an earthquake? How come you're not out there for peace? Where are all these religions? Where are all you priests? You screwing around with little boys. I forgot. Yeah. And where's the Pope over there? Well, I got my White Sox hat on, but I won't go to, well, I don't like what's going on there. Why don't you go there and try to stop it? Where are all these religions? Where are they? They're gutless little clowns all across the planet. That's where they are. Because if the people stood up and fought for we the people, instead of you the politicians, the whole game would change. All we are, it's not we the people, it's we the puppets. All right?
Well, speaking of trying to stop the genocide, the United Nations Commission has officially declared Israel's actions in Gaza to be a genocide. But as you pointed out in a recent episode of the edition of the Trends Journal, this is basically meaningless because it's just being ignored. There's no enforcement structure in place to actually take action to stop a genocide from happening. So what can they do? The majority of delegates walked out in protest when Bibi recently gave a speech at the UN, but that does not affect him at all. He doesn't care about that, right? So how can we actually hold people accountable like Netanyahu and stop these genocides if the UN is just saying it's a genocide, America and Israel completely ignore it? How does that ever get solved?
The only way it can get solved is if the people unite and say stop. End of story. Here, again, I've been at this a lot of years, and as you know, I was the assistant to the secretary of the New York State Senate. I have a picture of me and Ronald Reagan when I put on a brunch when I was 30 years old for 16 of our board of directors. We went to Prince of Norway, Major. I've been with all, I've been on the other side. I know the facts. Once upon a time, there was a thing called the Berlin Wall. How come it came down? Because the people went out and more people came and they didn't leave. Day after day, week after week, more and more people came and they didn't leave. And they outnumbered the little boys in their drag costumes with guns by about 20,000 to 1. They put down their guns, took off their costumes, and the wall came down. Look what's going on in Israel. Week after week, major protests. Doesn't do anything. You got to protest and not leave. America, country of 47 million people. Let's say 10 million went to Washington, D.C. and closed down the place and said, stop these wars. Stop these wars. If they flooded the streets, we're not leaving. It'd end like that. It would end like that. They're gutless. Again, when I put on these rallies, they cost me a lot of money. This last one cost me over $20,000 to do. Little support. No press coverage. The only way it will happen is if we the people unite. And when I talk about we the people, about 3 weeks ago, I took out the domain name, wethepeoplesparty.us. And then a week ago, I took out the domain name, wethepeoplesparty.world. Those domains should have been gone when the internet revolution began back in the 1990s. That shows you how we the people don't count and how we the people don't unite. It's as simple as that. If we the people, hey, remember they used to call politicians public servants? No. You're the servant. You're a plantation worker of slave land.
Well, it seems like one of the ways that the Trump administration is trying to crack down at home and continue this divide between left and right is what he calls, I believe he said exactly, a war, an enemy from within. So there was this recent big, all the military brass got together, Pete Hegseth giving them this big speech saying how we're gonna become all about war again, which was found very interesting. Now, I want to read a quote from President Trump. He gave a speech at the meeting as well. He said, "Last month, I signed an executive order to provide training for a quick reaction force that can help quell civil disturbances. This is going to be a big thing for the people in this room because it's the enemy from within, and we have to handle it before it gets out of control. It won't get out of control." So, of course, people are looking at this and saying he's basically looking to impose some sort of martial law, start deploying troops all around America. Supporters say, well, these are dangerous cities. We need somebody to come in and clean up because the governors, the mayors, the political class aren't lifting a finger. What are your thoughts on this whole event and this thought of fighting the enemy within?
It's, again, look at the facts. It's pure censorship. You had that Bondi, the attorney general, saying it. Hate speech. You're not allowed to have hate speech. Why can't hate somebody for slaughtering innocent people? No. It's put it all together. Once upon a time, there was this guy named Mussolini. Fascism. What did Trump just do with Intel? The United States just took 10% of the company, and now he's talking about doing more with other companies. Not my definition, Mussolini's. And going back to the censorship, the merger of state and corporate powers is fascism. It's a fascist country. Go back to Trump when he punished all these university students and universities for coming out against the genocide, right in front of everybody's eyes. Hate speech. And again, it's in your Trends Journal, one article after another. Here, there's one over here that, just give you an example. Carr plans to keep going after media. The FCC chair has threatened TV licenses over what he sees as liberal bias in broadcasts. All right? Now, wait a minute. You don't like liberal? No, I don't like liberal. I'm going to stop it. Hey, fat mouth, who the hell are you to say who should say what? I got to swallow your shit? Yes. You're still in kindergarten. You swallow my shit. All right? Right in front of everybody's eyes. Right here. Yeah, you ready for this? Narrative war pits Pentagon against press. This is New York Times, 9/25 of this year, September 25th. Imagine for a moment that the Defense Department's new demand for, quote, a pledge from Pentagon reporters, a commitment not to publish even unclassified information except what press officers approve. All right? Mussolini, the country's gone to shit. It's a shithole in every different way. The roads are rotted. The bridges are collapsing. Amtrak, how about Amcrap? I'm 4.5 hours from Canada, where I am in Kingston, New York. 4.5 hours. You take Amcrap, 10 hours to get to Montreal. 10 hours when I could drive there in 4.5. Subways in New York, a night in Calcutta. But we're going to spend $1 trillion for the military-industrial complex, all right? When all else fails, they take you to war. The economies are failing. Hey, what about gold prices? Well, who cares about what gold prices are? Hey, but you look, it's gone up 45% this year. Not a word. Go to CNBC. Go to Wall Street Journal. Go to the New York Times. One article in the Financial Times over like a week and a half. One major article, no major articles in any of the magazines, in any of the newspapers, rather, about why gold prices are spiking. Gold prices are spiking because of the fear of geopolitical insecurity and socioeconomic distress. Period, paragraph. Up 45% this year. Shut your mouth, don't talk about it, because we don't want the people to know how bad things are. So keep investing in that stock market.
The Trends Journal has been predicting this rise in gold for some time now. I wonder what your thoughts are in terms of how early we are in this gold bull market. Obviously, none of us want to see further geopolitical chaos or war escalation, but it looks like those things are all on the table. Do you expect gold to continue to climb here? And how long and how far do you think gold could go?
Gold could go to $10,000 an ounce. But you have to put all this stuff together. Again, as we're speaking now, it's $3,840. The economy, the numbers just came out today on new hirings totaled 204,939 so far in 2025. This is according to Challenger Gray and Christmas. From the same period a year ago, the lowest level since 2009. 2009, the height of the Great Recession, that's where job numbers are. All right? They're going to lower interest rates. The lower interest rates go, the deeper the dollar falls. The deeper the dollar falls, the higher gold prices go. Gold is dollar-based. So now as the other currencies go up, it's cheaper to buy gold in other countries. And that's what's going to happen. They're going to keep lowering interest rates. The death of the dollar is before us. But again, as I said, wild card. Orwell could not have come up with a better name than stable coins, all right? All the banks are going to go CBDC. Oh, this came out last week that the international debt level is about $340 trillion. How are you going to get rid of it? There's no way. When you look at the United States debt level, no, it's not 37 trillion. When you put Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and all the other government expenses, it's well over 100 trillion. We got a new coin. They're going to come out with a digital coin. As we're speaking, again, we call things the way they are, not the way we want them to be. We've been very bullish on Bitcoin, particularly when Trump got elected. This is the guy that's made fun of Bitcoin when he wasn't president back in 2021 and 20, calling it a bunch of crap, how terrible it is, killing the dollar. Hey, but now my family's in it. Shut the hell up, Celente. Hey, Witkoff and Jerkoff and Lutnick and this guy, the guys that are in the cabinet, their kids are in it, all right? Shut the hell up. Oh, I got $100 million from the crypto gang when I ran for president, all right? Oh, and they gave me tens of millions of dollars when I got inaugurated. And now as we're speaking, again, last week, crypto was down to like $109,000 a coin. $109,000 for something invented with nothing behind it. And now it's up, as we're speaking, 118,000. The gang's in charge. They're going to go from dirty cash to digital trash. It's going to happen. And the reason they're also going it, they're going to say this digital coin is worth way more than our debt level. So we just got wiped out our debt level. And they want digital because they know every penny you spent, where you spent it, what you spent it on, so they can get their tax money, most important. So that's where we see it going.
So are you turning more bearish at Bitcoin at this point in time now that the administration has gotten so heavily involved? Do you think that involvement could kind of remove one of the main aspects of Bitcoin that so many people were so bullish on, which was the fact that governments it kind of bypassed the government. Now it seems the government's directly involved. Does that change things in your view?
No, we see it going up. Again, the gang is in investing in it. Look at again, you can't make this crap up. You just saw this article. I have it over here about Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, doing a deal in with Saudi Arabia, $55 billion deal. 55 billion. Oh, and Trump opening up Trump Towers all throughout the Middle East. All they're interested in is making money. Bottom line. They're going to do everything they can to make as much money as they can. Yep. And it's not going to stop. This is Financial Times. Trump's businesses expand in booming Gulf real estate with $1 billion Red Sea deal. The project, the Trump Organization's second planned tower in Jeddah, will include offices, high-end apartments, and townhouses. The Trump Organization has also licensed its name to Dar Global to projects in Dubai, Oman, and Qatar. Okay? All right. All right. Right in front of your eyes. Right in front of your eyes. The president doing this kind of crap? Hey, my sons are doing it. Shut the hell up. You know, by the way, I had lunch with Trump's brother, Robert, back in, let me see, there's another one here. Hold it. Here we go. Is this it? No. I had lunch with his brother, Robert, back in 2017 when Trump was president. The brother went on to tell me, he had a restaurant over here in Wassaic, which is across the river from me here. He went on to tell me that when the father died, I think it was like 2002 that father died, that the father left the family over $500 million worth of real estate. So Trump is nothing more than a spoiled daddy's boy. And it's just going to keep going on and on. They're going to do everything they can to keep pumping up the crypto markets and the economy. So, yeah, Trump to send more troops into U.S. cities. I mean, this is unbelievable. And these guys with their masks on, these ICE guys. I mean, what is this, the SS? No, the Savak, I forgot. Yeah, which one?
I wonder what your thoughts are on the BRICS at this point in time and the moves they're making. We recently saw Russia and China sign an MOU regarding natural gas flows through this upcoming Power of Siberia 2 pipeline. They're also increasing natural gas flows through Power of Siberia 1. Of course, that's gas that could have been going to Europe, which desperately needs it, but has sanctioned Russian energy. We're also seeing the Shanghai Gold Exchange. There's a lot of talk about them opening vaults in BRICS member countries and then starting to use gold more and more as a way to settle trades. And it seems like that BRICS alliance is only strengthening as the US seems to be pushing its allies away. What are your thoughts on the BRICS versus the West at this point in time?
The BRICS are going to be the winner. You got to go by the numbers. What do you got? 1.4 billion people living in China, 1.4 billion in India. They had enough of the United States geopolitical and socioeconomic hegemony. They're finished. America's become the country that our founding fathers fought against, Great Britain. War, 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 war. And again, go back, all the wars where the sun never sets on the British Empire, after World War I, the pound died. The dollar became the most important currency. And now the United States is war, 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 war. The dollar's going to die. It's the death of the dollar's on the way. And again, going back to digital, now there's talk about digital gold. Right? They go digital gold, that could wipe out a lot of the cryptos. Because now you have a crypto backed by gold. We're very positive on the gold future. Very. And again, sadly, again, in my book, here, Trend Tracking, far better than Megatrends, Time Magazine, I wrote about how I first started buying gold in 1978 when the Iranian conflict broke out, and they taught us to hate the Iranians without 99.9999% of the Americans knowing how the United States overthrew the democratically elected government of Mohammad Mossadegh in 1953 because democratically elected government of Iran, because he had the nerve to say, no, that oil does not belong to Anglo-Iranian oil, better known today as BP, or Standard Oil, better known today as ExxonMobil. This oil is the Iranian people's oil. No, it's not. No, it's not. And they overthrew the guy, and they brought in the Savak, the secret police that made the SS look good. So when the rally started to happen against the Shah back in the 70s, late 70s, that's when I started buying gold. My first buy of gold was $163 an ounce. The times now are worse than that. The way gold is spiking now is beyond, again, pick up any of the major media, not a word. Not a word about gold's prices spiking. Let's just talk about AI. Just talk about AI.
Do you have any thoughts on silver here? Because as gold continues to climb to new all-time highs basically every day, silver is also having its own massive breakout, up around 60% year to date, outperforming gold, which is up around 45%, and now approaching previous all-time highs, at least in nominal terms. When you adjust for inflation, of course, we would need triple digits. Are you watching the silver market right now? And what are your thoughts on the trajectory of that metal?
Oh, absolutely. Very positive on silver, too. Precious metals of the future. Again, oh, by the way, I found the article about Trump's son-in-law. Again, about the crime syndicate. You ready? Electronic Arts goes private for $55 billion in record-shattering leveraged buyout. Video game maker Electronic Arts is being taken private by a Saudi-backed consortium led by Jared Kushner and Silver Lake in a $55 billion deal that ranks as the biggest ever leveraged buyout. Jared Kushner? You mean Trump's son-in-law? Saudi Arabia? Well, I mentioned before about Qatar, Oman, UAE, right? This is why the Arab nations have not united to stop the Gaza genocide. Let's go back to 1973. The Yom Kippur War. The Arab nations united and cut off oil going into Europe and the United States. Brent crude quadrupled in price. Not now. Now, actually, they even, you saw it, OPEC Plus just came out, they're putting more oil in. As we're speaking now, what, Brent crude's around $64 a barrel. They're putting more supply when demand is going down. That's how much they need the money. That's how bad it is. And again, you're seeing what's going on over here. This is right in front of everybody's eye. Jared Kushner. Oh, when Netanyahu used to come to America, he used to stay at the Kushner's family's house. Oh, yeah. That Jared Kushner? That Jared Kushner we quote in the Trends Journal back in March of 2024. The land in Gaza is, quote, very valuable waterfront property, and the Palestinians should be moved into the Negev desert. Oh, that Jared Kushner. Yeah.
So I wonder, all these wars that America seems to be getting involved in. We, of course, have Russia, Ukraine, which it now looks like they're going to at least partially get involved in. Venezuela, as you mentioned, they bombed a couple of boats they claim were trafficking drugs. I don't think that story quite adds up. And now there's talk of them striking inside Venezuelan territory itself. Of course, Israel and the U.S. versus Iran is another potential conflict that could grow bigger. We saw that short war with both the U.S. and Iran and Israel striking Iran, and there's a lot of talk about that being rekindled. Again, you say don't ask why because these people are just sick. But what is the purpose of the U.S. getting involved on so many fronts? Is this kind of the last gasp of a dying US hegemony that is lashing out to try and keep itself relevant? Is this a show of strength? Well, what is this?
Again, it's been going on. There's one of my sayings is when all else fails, they take you to war. Go back, the Israel war. Let's go back to 2023, January. Netanyahu wins the election in December 2022, late December. There were protests going on. These are facts. Anybody could look them up. There were protests going on in Israel week after week, week after month, month after month, against Netanyahu's Judicial Reform Act that basically said we're doing away with the court system and I'm in charge. This way I don't have to go to court for the crimes that they say have been committed against me. 39 weeks of protests were going on. Not my language, the language of Isaac Herzog, the president of Israel. In 2023, there's a civil war going on in Israel. October 7th, Hamas attacks, everybody forgot about it. And again, we only write the facts 3 days after the attack. It was reported that the United States and Egypt had warned Israel that the attack was coming. Not my language. Again, as trend forecasters, what we do is we follow the world. We subscribe to Haaretz, the Israeli newspaper. We read the Jerusalem Post, Times of Israel, Ynet. We also read IRNA, ISNA, Press TV, Tehran Times. Want to hear what the Iranians have to say? We go to Arab news. We go to Al Jazeera. Want to hear what the Arabs have to say? We go to European news. They have to say. So we look at all the information. Haaretz then reported. The Netanyahu government knew this attack was going to come. They let it happen. When all else fails, they take you to war. This history today, see the thing up there? What was going on in 1941? Well, the United States was in a deep depression. United States freezes Japanese assets. On July 24th, it's 1941. On July 26th, 1941, President Roosevelt swung into action by freezing all Japanese assets in America. You know why? Because in retaliation for the Japanese occupation of French Indochina. Wait a minute. Number one, what the hell do I care as an American what's going on with Japan and French Indochina? What the hell are the French doing in Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia? And you're calling it French Indochina? No, we're also in Algeria, Morocco, for Africa. We're stealing and robbing, pillaging anything we want. We'll call it French Indochina. Oh, French Foreign Legion, I forgot. Okay. You ready? Britain and the Dutch East Indies followed suit. Dutch East Indies? What the hell are the Dutch doing in Indonesia and you're calling it Dutch East Indies? We're doing the same thing that the British are doing, and sits on the British Empire, and we're doing what the English are doing, and by the way, I'm sick and tired of hearing this word king. If they were Italian, you'd call them a mafia. Murderous pieces of scum. Anyway, swung into action. The result, Japan lost access to 3/4 of its overseas trade. You ready? And 88% of its imported oil. They only import 100%. Now, wait a minute. You just cut off all their trade and that's their exporting country, and you cut off all their oil, can't understand why they bombed Pearl Harbor. Can't figure it out. They don't tell you this. They don't teach you this. When all else fails, they take you to war. The Great Depression was going on. Before this happened, 80% of the American people were against getting involved in what was going on in Europe. Let's go back to the dot-com bust, which we forecast in the Trends Journal when it was a quarterly, right here, dot-com this. We said it would bust by the second quarter of 2000. We wrote, dot-com overload will short circuit high expectations for huge profits in internet commerce, entertainment, and a wide array of dot-com services. Following the holiday season, many of today's high-flying internet stocks, the hottest IPOs, the newly emerging IPO wannabes, will have begun their descent from their overvalued heights. We said it would crash by the second quarter of 2000, which it did. Now, what happened? The NASDAQ lost 80% of its value. That was March. It crashed of the year 2000. Oh, what followed that? 9/11. Everybody forgot about the dot-com bust, and they created the fake housing market and the derivative scheme. All right? The same thing is going to happen. They're going to take us to war. And the people will unite. There'll be a false flag event, like a kind of like a bombing of Pearl Harbor kind of thing, but different, where the people will unite against it. 90% of the American people swallowed the crap coming out of little Georgie Bush's mouth after 9/11. We're going to get that guy Osama bin Laden. The longest war in American history. Trillions of dollars of our money wasted, and hundreds of thousands of innocent people slaughtered in Afghanistan. 90% of the people swallowed his crap. Same thing's going to happen again if we, the people, don't unite. And they're not. It's not going to happen. We're not going to unite.
I think one of the biggest barriers that people face, your average everyday person on the street, is they can't grasp how evil their political leaders are. These are people that are usually narcissists at best and bloodthirsty psychopaths at worst who actually enjoy inflicting death and suffering. People cannot wrap their heads around the fact that these people who are supposed to be taking care of them and looking out for them and be servants of the public are actually monsters. I think that's the main barrier to entry that people have.
And again, it's once upon a time, there was this guy by the name of Dwight D. Eisenhower, 5-star general, supreme commander of the Allied forces in World War II and 2-term president. He warns the American people that the military-industrial complex is robbing the nation of the genius of the scientists, sweat of the labors, and the futures of children. It's also the Eisenhower. He was the president, like I think Columbia University. Yeah, it was Columbia University. They wanted him to run for president. He didn't really want to. You could Google it up. He says any man seeking the office of president is either an egomaniac or crazy. So it's exactly what you said.
Well, before I let you go, Gerald, my final question is, you mentioned that the Trends Journal called the dot-com bust. I wonder if you're seeing similar signs now in these tech stocks, and this overvalued AI, the Mag 7, obviously continues to climb. The three major indices, the Dow Jones, the S&P, and the NASDAQ continue to climb higher, grind higher. It's a little bit slower now, but it's still moving upwards. Do you think we're going to see some moment where we get a similar correction, that 50 to 80% crash? Do you foresee something like that happening up ahead, or are we in a different era where the government and the Fed and these forces behind the scenes are getting so involved that at all costs they're going to try to keep the stock market afloat?
At all costs, they're going to keep the stock market afloat, and if it crashes, they'll do everything to pump it back up again. Let's go back, and I'll go back to the dot-com in a second. It's a crime syndicate. They're murderers and thieves. We talked about the murder of the war. Let's talk about the thieves. What happened with the panic of 2008? The domain, by the way, that I took out in 2007. The Federal Reserve pumped in $29 trillion, with a T, dollars to bail out the banks. That's according to the Levy Institute, Bard College. It's a crime syndicate. Let's go back to the dot-com bust. Go back to your Trends Journal, January 28th of this year. Dot-com bust 2.0. Trends are born, they grow, they mature, reach old age, and die. AI became public just 3 years ago. It's an infant. You don't invest all your dough in the infancy of the new, whether it's high-tech, heavy industry. You don't invest all your money in the first baby born. And that's what they've done. Cover of our magazine on February 5th of this year. Dot-com bust 2.0. Once upon a time, another slime ball was president. This is a t-shirt that I did back in 1992 when Bill Clinton was running for president. Beware Slick Willie. Oh, and by the way, here's another t-shirt you could get by going to Trends Journal, just to show you the way I feel about politicians.
We feel the same way. That's for sure.
All right.
I'll make sure to put a link below so people can purchase those shirts.
So Bill Clinton brought China into the World Trade Organization, who also gave us NAFTA. Get these manufacturing jobs out of America. You can make more money and give it back to me. Now I'm worth $130 million, a little nobody from Arkansas. $130 million now. Anyway, he brings China into the World Trade Organization. They officially came in 2 weeks after 9/11. Let's go back to 2000. And again, this has to do with .com. 10% of Chinese 18-year-olds went to college back then. Now, almost 70%. 70% of the country, 1.4 billion versus 347 million in America. Country is dumbing down, by the way. Young people are totally AI and high-tech addicted. China's investing very heavily in the AI market. It's the future. Again, like it, don't like it, it's what is. And what's going to happen, you already saw it with DeepSeek. It didn't cost them $100 million to do what they did. It only cost them $6 million. Oh, and we don't need these big chips. We need smaller ones. Get NVIDIA out of China. We're developing our own. Same thing with India. There's going to be a .com bust. They've way over-invested. Look at the PE ratio. It's way out of line. There's going to be a .com bust. And again, when all those fails, they're going to take us to war. They'll get the people's mind off it. And again, the Fed will do what they did before. I thought the markets would crash in 2012, all right? I was wrong. They did not teach me about zero interest rate policy or a thing called quantitative easing in Economics 101 or graduate school. They'll make up any crap they want. Again, digital coin, CBD, they're going to do everything they can to artificially prop this up. It's going down. It's going to crash. No one, anywhere, here, Google it up. Go to Castle Systems. Look up the office occupancy rate. I looked it up a couple of days ago, 54%. What's the office vacancy rate? Nobody in the buildings. It was 11% before the COVID war, and now it's 20%. There's going to be failures. They're not going to be able to pay on these office buildings. There's going to be a collapse. Banks are not going to be able to cover the loans. Again, I thought things would crash when they locked down the world. I didn't know they'd bring interest rates down to zero, keep them negative in Europe, and pump in countless trillions of dollars of fake money backed by nothing and printed on nothing. It's all coming to an end now. No one's talking about the office building bust. Go back to 2023, not ancient history. 3 banks failed. Silicon, Conman Valley Bank, Signature Bank, and First Republic. Boop! Markets were crashing. Gold was spiking. 3 banks. Now you're going to see 30, 40, 50, 60, maybe 100 banks. Because most of these loans in the office buildings are small and medium-sized banks. They don't have the dough to cover the losses. No one's talking about it. No one.
Well, Gerald, this has been a fantastic conversation. As always, A lot to be worried about, but it's better to be aware of all these dangers than to stick our head in the sand and pretend everything's going to be okay. So always appreciate your insight. Tell us about the Trends Journal and where people can find that.
Let's go to trendsjournal.com, trendsjournal.com. It's the grand total of $2.59 a week. Nothing. And over 200 pages on average. Excuse me. We don't only talk about geopolitics and economics, high-tech science, AI, whole sections, technocracy. We health. We bring special. We're covering the world. We're giving people everything they can to help them prepare, prevail, and prosper. As I said, we said this is what they're saying. All over the world. This is our analysis. This is our forecast. So there's no advertisements. Not one advert. Nobody tells us what to do.
Well, I will put a link in the description below. People can use the coupon code commodity to get 10% off that already very cheap prices you mentioned. So be sure to do that. And of course, pick up one of those t-shirts. Those are great. Thank you so much, Gerald. Always appreciate you coming on the show.
Well, thank you. Yeah, if you put in your link, it's the grand total about $2.50 a week, like pennies a day.
Thank you for joining us today. Our sponsor, Arc Silver Gold Osmium, has some of the best prices out there. They are appearing on screen right now to take advantage. Reach out to owner Ian Everard today at 307-264-9441 or by email at ian@arcsgo.com, and make sure to tell him that Commodity Culture sent you. And in the meantime, be sure to pick up your Commodity Culture merch, hats, t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, all backed by a 100% quality guarantee. Use the link in the description below, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Commodity Culture is a series on commodities and natural resources. If you would like to see more, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification so you're always up to date with the latest episodes.